Today we're going to introduce you to the new and updated Osirium Admin Console. We've redesigned the interface and we've introduced some new, smarter dashboards and reporting technology in this interface. Well, first we'll take a look at the accounts menu. So how do we start managing those privileged accounts that Osirium discovers on those devices that we're managing? Accounts are given various different states, and when they're first discovered, they're given the state of unapproved, which means we need to do something about that. If we find this account here that looks quite suspicious, named backdoor, we can simply right click and change the state of the account. We can go up to managed, where PAM is actually automatically generating the passwords and managing that password on a time basis, ensuring the password we're generating is also compliant with your security policies. You'll see there that we can bulk select these accounts, and once accounts are known where we're not actually managing the password, if we have the access to do so, we can also reveal the credentials, which will of course generate a security event. But you can see there is the password if we did need to connect locally to that system. You'll also see there's a fully managed account here, which means this is an account that PAM has created for us, which is providing my user read-only access to the firewall this time. And we can see now that that is a password that's secure, complex, and that's been generated by our solution. Moving on to the profiles, which is where we can configure the levels of access. If we have a look at the domain controller access profile, here we can see what a profile looks like. So along the top, we can see whether a profile is enabled, whether session recording for the devices in this profile is enabled, and also whether change ticket is going to be required. We can also see under the Approvers tab if anyone's been set up to approve access requests for this profile. And in here, this is where this will be configured. Under the Access tab, you would first select the devices and the level of access, whether users are going to use a local account, or whether PAM's going to provision them with access to a role-based account, or whether we're going to map the user onto a corresponding account within PAM. Under the Tools menu, we tick how the user connects, so RDP and ADUC. And under the tasks, similarly again, we select what tasks the user in this profile can run. And then finally, we select who the users are, or groups of users, whether they're individual or Active Directory. If we drill down into this AD group, Osirium's already synchronized the users within that group, so I can see that there's just Tom Hills who can authenticate to PAM with his AD user and inherit this permission. Under the device access report is where we capture exactly the monitoring of the sessions within PAM. So we can see starts and end times of sessions, who the user is, where they've connected from, to what they've connected to, with the level of access, and additionally as well if anyone's approved that connection, and also if there were any change tickets that were entered as part of that connection. But how do we separate the wood from the trees? How do we find an event that may have occurred in a session? If we enable the fuzzy filter option, we'll be able to filter back through all of these sessions where a particular event has occurred. So for example, this particular command that we ran earlier. Apply the filter, and then we can play back the session. As we've recorded this session, we have the video playback available. We could, in this example, set the playback speed to fastest and then press play. So if I'm an auditor, I'm able to review the access, to which you can also grant me audit-only permissions to the device access report without giving me full access to the interface. And then we can see frame by frame when exactly that command or that event occurred. These recordings can also be configured to be archived off box, and you can also export the report via CSV. Finally, to wrap up, we'll take a look at the new and improved management report, which gives us a breakdown and a percentage of the account management coverage. What this means is the levels of account management are reported here, and we can easily see overall the success of the PAM solution. Now, for a production environment, I would expect this to be anywhere between 80 to 100% of account management coverage, with a large amount of light green for managed accounts, and maybe an introduction of some dark green to implement that role-based access control with those fully managed accounts that we mentioned earlier. You may, however, be expected to see a tiny bit of red as new devices are onboarded, as PAM can be configured to automatically discover credentials across existing devices and new devices on a time basis. So if you do see a little bit of red, that enables you to work those accounts up to manage if you have new starters that need privileged accounts. Within here as well, we can also see the estate overview and the user activity at a snapshot in a bird's eye view, so we can clearly see if we need to reduce or grant further privileges throughout the environment. And that's a wrap for today's session. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch.